Ugly, stupid, replaceable. That's what my CEO, Marcus Reed, called me in front of the entire executive board. The words slammed into me harder than any layoff notice could. I stood there, 35, dark brown hair tied in a simple knot, navy blazer buttoned to hide my shaking hands, while a man in his tailored suit smirked like I was nothing. For 7 years, I carried his company through crises, building the software that managed their billion-dollar contracts. And now, in one brutal meeting, Marcus reduced me to nothing more than an insult, a punchline for the junior execs who laughed nervously around the table. I felt my cheeks burn, but I didn't cry. I swallowed the humiliation. He thought his words destroyed me. He had no idea what I had already built, what was already mine. I didn't argue, I didn't plead. I walked out with my badge still warm from the scanner, leaving behind the spreadsheets and servers I designed from scratch. Marcus thought firing me was final. He thought calling me ugly and stupid stripped me of power. But as I stepped into the cold air, I smiled for the first time in weeks. He didn't know that every line of code that kept his empire alive, payroll, vendors, contracts, was tied back to my name. My work wasn't just logged in the system, it was the system. And while he mocked me for my appearance, for my supposed lack of brains, the truth was, without me, the company's brain was already shutting down. The first cracks appeared within hours. A supplier called my personal phone, confused why their invoice bounced. Then another. By the end of the day, the procurement system was frozen. Marcus blamed IT. He blamed interns. He called emergency meetings where he pounded his fist and shouted about stupid mistakes, the same word he had used on me. Meanwhile, I sat at home in my small kitchen, sipping coffee, watching the chaos unfold in leaked Slack screenshots from employees too scared to speak out, but desperate for me to know. His empire wasn't crumbling because of sabotage, it was collapsing because I was gone. The next week, payroll failed. Thousands of employees stared at empty accounts on payday. Marcus stormed through the office, red-faced, shouting, "Who is responsible for this mess?" I almost laughed when I heard. I had written every payroll integration myself. Without my key, nothing moved. No patch, no quick fix. Ugly, stupid, replaceable. His words came back to him now, echoing in every panicked call from HR, every employee walking out. He thought insulting me stripped my dignity. Instead, it stripped his company bare, exposing just how much I mattered. I didn't reach out. I didn't need to. By the second week, vendors had cut ties, contracts stalled, and the press started circling. Rumors spread. Was the company hacked? Was there fraud? Marcus stood on stage at a press conference, sweat glistening under the lights, insisting everything was under control. I watched the clip a dozen times. The same man who called me stupid couldn't answer a single question about his own systems. He looked pathetic. And still, he hadn't said my name. He hadn't admitted who had built it all. That silence was his pride. It would also be his downfall. By the third week, the board demanded answers. Millions in losses, clients threatening lawsuits, and in a last desperate move, Marcus called me. I let it ring. Again. Then voicemail. "Emma, we need you back. Just call me." I saved every message. The arrogance in his voice cracked into desperation. The same man who mocked me, now begging. It wasn't enough. Not yet. He had to feel it in public, the way I had. He had to face the humiliation of needing the woman he called ugly and stupid to save everything he loved. Marcus tried to bluff longer. He hired consultants. He threw money at IT firms. None of them could untangle the architecture I had woven over years. They patched holes, but nothing held. Every day, the company hemorrhaged cash. Employees quit in waves. News outlets called it a corporate implosion. His empire was rotting from the inside, and I was the missing organ. That's when the board turned on him. I got the call, not from Marcus this time, but from them. An invitation, a request, a chance to return, but not as an employee, as something far greater. I walked into the same glass conference room where he humiliated me. Heads turned. The board sat stiff, their polished shoes tapping nervously on the floor. And Marcus? He was there, slouched, pale, eyes bloodshot, the smug CEO replaced with a broken man. For a moment, I saw his jaw tighten, pride warring with panic. Then he said the words I never thought I'd hear. "Emma, we need you. Name your price." The man who spat ugly and stupid at me in front of everyone now whispered my value like a confession. But I didn't answer. Not yet. The board offered me equity, a seat, control. They laid contracts in front of me, desperate for my signature. And Marcus just stared, fists clenched, as if he could will this away. He couldn't. The empire had bled too much. They were begging for me to stitch it back together. And I realized something. I didn't want revenge through money. I wanted him to feel the way I had, cornered, exposed, stripped of dignity in front of everyone. So I turned to him and calmly said, "Tell them what you called me. Tell them why you fired me." The silence was suffocating. The board looked between us, confused. Marcus swallowed hard, his Adam's apple bobbing. For the first time, he looked small. I called her ugly and stupid," he muttered. One of the directors gasped. Another leaned back, disgusted. The room shifted. They weren't laughing with him anymore. They were ashamed of him. And in that moment, his humiliation was complete. I had ripped the mask off. The powerful CEO reduced to a petty bully in front of his empire. And I hadn't raised my voice once. The board moved quickly after that. Marcus was stripped of authority, his contract terminated on the spot. They slid the papers to me. Interim CEO, my name etched where his once was. The company was mine to command, not because I begged, not because I fought, but because I had built what no one else could, and because his cruelty made it impossible for him to stay. I signed slowly, deliberately, letting him watch. This wasn't revenge by force. It was justice by truth. And the truth was undeniable. Ugly, stupid Emma was now his replacement. Marcus didn't leave gracefully. He shouted. He threw accusations. He swore the company would fail under me. The board ignored him. Security escorted him out like any other disgraced employee. I stood at the window, watching him walk across the same pavement where I once cried in silence. He looked smaller than ever, a man stripped of the empire he thought defined him. And I felt taller than I ever had, not because I won, but because I survived. Because his insults hadn't broken me, they had revealed him. The headlines the next morning were brutal. CEO ousted after humiliating employee. Reed Enterprises saved by ex-CTO. My inbox overflowed with messages from old colleagues, some apologetic, some congratulatory. I answered none. I didn't need their validation anymore. Marcus tried to erase me with words. Instead, he erased himself. And the world finally saw the truth. Competence outlasts cruelty. Dignity outlasts arrogance. The first board meeting under my leadership was quiet. Eyes on me, waiting for direction. I spoke calmly, laying out the roadmap I had always known was possible. No insults, no theatrics, just vision and work. That's how power should feel. Not as a weapon, but as a responsibility. Marcus had wasted his legacy on ego. I would not. Sometimes, late at night, I think back to that moment. The sting of being called ugly and stupid in front of everyone. It should have destroyed me. Instead, it freed me. Marcus gave me nothing but cruelty, and in return, I built a future without him. I didn't just survive his words, I turned them into my crown. And as I lock the office each night, CEO now, my reflection in the glass doesn't look ugly. It looks powerful.